everybody, it's Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer, coming at you to talk about the events of June 2022. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. Some people have said the volume isn't loud enough on the video. I don't know how to fix that, and other people are telling me it's fine, so sorry if you're having to turn this way up to here. I am trying to investigate it, but of course Mercury's been retrograde, so it's been a weird Mercury retrograde, which is what we'll talk about, some of the stuff I'll talk about. And also, as always, thank you to the guys on Know Thyself podcast, Daniel and Eduardo. Thank you so much for promoting me. Appreciate you both and everything you're doing for everybody. Okay, so today is June 4th, and Mercury has finally gone direct, which is yay. Now, Mercury retrograde usually, like I talk about, it has a lot to do with internal communication, and I still stand by that. However, some Mercury retrogrades, tend to be more challenging in the outside world when you're trying to do your regular life than others. And so what happened is, and I should also say that Saturn has been squaring Mercury. And usually when Mercury's at a normal pace, when it connects with any planet, it's like, 2 days, it's fine, zoop, zoop, zipping along. But when Mercury's slowing down to change direction, it kind of sits for almost like 2 weeks or something, it seems. And then here's Saturn then, Mercury going direct in Taurus, and Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn also sitting still, gonna change direction. Now, Saturn is going retrograde as of today, Saturday the 4th. And the outer planets, let's just be liberal and say Jupiter and Saturn are sort of like outer planets, not really, but Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto go retrograde once a year and direct once a year. So it's not a huge deal that it's actually going retrograde, but it's the slowing down, And Saturn has to do with slowing down anyway. So it's like, oh, great. And then Mercury is, how our day moves along. So we've got this grinding halt. And a lot of people have been telling me they've been so tired. I mean, and it's interesting, all ages of people, just wiped out. And then there can be some negative thinking and different stuff like that. Of course, it's always good to examine the negative thinking or whatnot. And in terms of being tired, some of that just may resolve. But it could be like, gee, do I need to eat better? Or, have more of a exercise program or look at vitality. But generally, it's just kind of a weird interlude, of just probably a lot of the problems will just go away. Saturn starts moving as well. But every day that goes by, Mercury now is moving away from Saturn, and that'll help a lot. When I was looking at the planets this month to do a little talk, I was like, looking at the new moon and the full moon, and I'm like, all right, so the full moon, because full moons are always a little weird, the sun is our kind of personal identity, and the moon is our emotion. So when the moon's full, the moon is opposite the sun, which is kind of a heightened state, right? So this full moon it's going to be the 14th of June, is making a square to the planet Neptune. And Neptune, and again, full moons don't take that long, right? But it's a little weird. Neptune is strange. I mean, Saturn is tired, but Neptune can be disoriented. So it's just kind of a weird beginning of the first half of the month is a little weird. Then once we get into the second half of the month, and for those of you who are fans of Mercury catching up with itself, because Mercury went direct on the 2nd, I believe it was, Thursday, Friday, it was Friday, I guess, yesterday. Then it catches up, it goes forward, and it passes that point at which it retrograded. That's going to be June 18. And some people feel even better, but this is, again, a big change with just getting away from the Saturn, okay? So don't worry about the 18th, but it's even more fresh energy, after the 18th. And so we get out of that full moon, we get the Mercury really rolling along, and then the new moon with the sun and moon together in Cancer is making an angle to a square to Jupiter. But Jupiter is full of energy. It's much more peppy, And, excuse me, also Mars has moved into Aries. which, and so is Jupiter. I talked about that last month, but I'll repeat it in a second. But, Mars is the planet of energy. Aries is its own sign. And I think we're going to start to feel how Mars is in Aries, how Jupiter went into Aries. Mars stays in the sign for about 2 months, Jupiter for 12 months, but Jupiter's going to do a little backtrack into Pisces. Don't worry about that. But Jupiter is substantially longer in the sign. So I don't think we felt the, yes, of that Mars having this refreshed cycle and Jupiter having its refreshed cycle because of this Mercury, keep making this face probably, no, Mercury Saturn. That Mercury Saturn thing has just been sort of like an overarching kind of blah or tired or whatever. But boy, I think we're really gonna feel it in the middle of the month. And again, with maybe that weird interlude with full moon. When also Mars is going to make a sextile to Saturn. So Saturn's been being kind of a jerk, right, with the Mercury. And then at the end of the month, Mars moves into an angle that works really harmoniously, Mars in Aries with the Saturn in Aquarius. And that's like, say, the last week of the month. Much different. It's like, I can actually get things done. Mars and Saturn help you plan things, help you feel motivated to pursue each step of the plan, help you build your confidence. So it's just a lot better. And again, Mercury retrograde is really good for looking internally. But I find with that Saturn square, it can be a little morbid reflection, and just kind of watch for overly harsh examination of yourself and really get another person's opinion who knows you for a long time, like, you're kind of being hard on yourself, or you really made a lot of improvements here, and why are you evaluating yourself this way? So it can always be good with whatever internal stuff you've come up with, just run it by somebody, and it might be that you're not as bad off as you think, kind of thing. Okay, so there's that. Ooh, let me see how long I've been talking, because I'm in my little clock here. Only 7 minutes. Okay, I may want more than that. So let's see. So one of the other lovely things is that Venus is in Taurus. And even with now Mercury going forward in Taurus, let's even say this, I'll start with Mercury and then go into the Venus. As Mercury moves away from the square to Saturn, it also then makes a trine to Pluto. And that's going to be like, let's see, when I'm looking down, by the way, I'm looking at my book. This is called an ephemeris. Has all the different planets in there, and so I look down and look at where the planets are. Sometimes I've taken notes beforehand, so I don't do it. But let's say that the next weekend, like the 10th, 11th of June, Mercury is then moving into that real positive angle with Pluto, and then Venus will do the same thing, like the 21st, 22nd or so of June. And when Mercury, again, our thinking, works in a nice way with Pluto, it's like returning to commitments to yourself. It's, and especially after that harsh awarenesses or whatever of Mercury with Saturn, the Mercury-Pluto is like, all right, what do I really need to work on? And, or seeing that you have been making progress and you just kind of continue along with that progress. And really work with praising yourself and seeing that you are advancing in your spiritual growth, or whatever you're working on is actually got some traction under it, And then Venus with Pluto is really great for relationships, because Venus is love and Pluto is a sense of commitment and presence. It's also about finances. So anything, if you're working with anything financial, that can be a good evaluation of what's going on. Being able to work with savings or investments and things like that can be really good. And just kind of perceiving what, even if you're, like, say, working with debt stuff or creating a new budget, it's very sensible, but also, like, not just getting your basic needs met, but being able to save and being able to, say, invest or something like that, and see that you've got more strength than you think. It can even be a great time for, I love prosperity affirmations or reading books about spirituality and prosperity, and tapping in to a divine source or pipeline of abundance. And that can be financial abundance, it can be health, it can be relationships, it can be spiritual growth. But there's something about coming out of the Mercury square Saturn that feels like, it's just this empty, bucket or something. And then going to Mercury with Pluto is like, oh wait, I have all this other resources I forgot to tap into, and really believing in yourself again. And since Mercury represents our friends, if it's like working with a friend as a meditation partner, or some sort of positive thinking or accurate thinking partner, and helping each other stay in a higher space about whatever issues you're working on and growth you're working on, that can really help to combine forces with somebody. So in working with gratitude is also great with Mercury, Pluto, and Venus, Pluto. Okay, so a little bit short today, but you're probably too tired to listen to more on the Mercury. You're like a lot of my clients, whatever's going on. Gosh. So more energy coming, feeling more peppy. There's nothing wrong with you. You're okay. Everyone's so worried about themselves. Like, oh God. But it's like, all right, we're going to have vitality soon. So if you want to get a session with me, please contact me at my number below here, 248-583-1663. You can, sometimes I don't get messages from YouTube, so be better to email me or text me, aluna3366@gmail, or you can go on my website, alunamichaels.com. And also I've got my little Kindle book, The Spiritual Gifts of the 12 Astrological Signs. So hang in there. We got through the worst of this stuff. It's going to feel better and better every day, and have a strong finish to the rest of the month. So see you next month, and bye-bye for now.